workshop. We're actually going to give you different cards that have design prototypes that were shown in the survey. If you guys haven't taken it, please take it. It's really cool. So step one is you take one of the game cards and actually choose them. There'll be 4 of each type per table. There are 5 or 6 different prototype types. You can also make your own cards if you want to. You can write anything anywhere, we have trays. And then 2 is you actually take your design game card and you find a place on the map where you think it's suitable. You can extend off the extents of the map, but we're trying to keep it site specific here if you guys are familiar with the area. Also, we are each going to present what we've done for the last 2 days. So you'll be able to choose a table that interests you based on what other people have come up with, and you can say that doesn't work and remove cards, or just give your input on the design in general. And step 3 is you want to make all your cards into some sort of a system that addresses a regional problem or adds some sort of a benefit. And then we're all going to present our solutions as each group at the end. So I think now we're going to go around and have everyone present what was going on for the past 2 days.
We do 3 tables.
3 tables?
Well, but some schemes will be left out unless you combine
We can
them
combine.
throughout the process.
Yeah.
Combine the sewage overflow.
Well, I
We're gonna go to
think
the restroom. Speaking of sewage overflows.
I think having 2 to 3 people per table
Yeah.
is a better idea, because then when you take turns to propose solutions, you have more time to
Yeah.
talk about what's going on. I think
Exactly.
we'll get the most input out of sticking with 6 tables. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, so this is, actually, should I wait for him to get back or move forward? I'm not going to put him in the hot seat. We're going to move forward.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the hydroponic green street. This is one of the prototypes that could be implemented on a smaller scale street that would include water retention, water reuse, as well as create some sort of an auditory and aesthetic visual qualities through either water noises or some sort of flowing water next to the street, or just increased greenery. And then you have a very similar prototype that would add a little bit of space and create seating or have room for a bike lane or anything else that you guys want to propose, about a 5-foot stretch. Once again, gray water reuse is a possibility and creating that aesthetic environment that people want to go to. This is something you saw in Victor's presentation with the canals. This could be a regional transportation system with some sort of locks that allow you to increase elevation, also allow for water retention. Once again, gray water reuse could be implemented from surrounding structures, and it creates an area for public transportation as well as a nice plaza space. Different adaptations of this Blue Way area could be a possible swale that would be vegetated that would allow for the remediation of gray water and transport. Maybe this would incorporate regional transportation and would allow for more space for pedestrian access or seating. It's going gray water reuse and creating an aesthetic environment. And then going all the way to the other end of the spectrum, some sort of a daylighted system. Once again, this could go in alleyways or maybe even alongside a larger road. This has water retention capability, gray water reuse, and a much more naturalized aesthetic for people to engage with. And then something that we're calling water parks. No, it doesn't have anything to do with slides. And then this could potentially be, on the left, you could see a potable water storage unit. So if there is any way to contain potable water or even irrigation water, you would have these decentralized locations that you can implement at parks for dispersing it. And also some sort of a larger scale gray water reuse that would be able to retain water in storm events and keep it out of the confined sewer system. And also you could put any sort of recreational space on top. So this is something that would be completely capped and wouldn't necessarily need permanent building or want permanent building. So we're going to start now. I think we're going to have everyone go around and present those. Whoever's
You would start with Philip.
and we'll hand out the cards.
So my table the last 2 days has looked in particular at Spruce Park, down in Dogpatch, as well as 22nd Street and 25th Street, and looking at different water water swales or canals that could go there. And then just yesterday with a couple of high schoolers, we were looking at creating a large waterfront park down by Pier 80 at the southern end of the site along the Islish Channel, and then looking at creating a large wetland just to the north of Pier 80. So we focused a lot on the park spaces.
Yeah, I gotta refresh myself real quick. So yesterday, I had a concerned citizen from Potrero Hill, and he was talking about how the water was backing out down below his street. So we were looking at different ways to incorporate swales, and then retention and detention areas inside those roadways to just detain the water until the storm system stopped. And then we're also looking at how we can connect all of the east to west streets, going from Potrero Hill down to the bay, and how we can add swales, canals, and other forms of water retention, detention, and storm systems, just to help the flow of water.
Right, on our table over here, first we had Team Clean Seepers on Friday, and we looked a lot, because we had a resident in Potrero Hill, so we looked a lot at the residential scale with capturing your own water. They had a lot of diverting water outside of your houses, so you wouldn't have flooding coming up into your basement. And then on Saturday, we had Team The Living City, and we looked at how we could take all that water that we're diverting out of residences and how we can, that's coming off of Potrero Hill, and how we can capture it, divert it out of the city using other canals or underground channels, and then diverting it into these areas of riparian areas, ecological sort of wetland areas, so it can flood and then be treated before it would enter back into the creeks or the bay.
Alright, so on Friday we focused on Pier 70 where they wanted to have a brand new development and focus on having swales in the alleyways. And then on Saturday we proposed a storage tank system also with the living wall for first of all to solve water problem and camper problem, because there's a lot of campers, especially homeless people, that want to camp under a freeway bridge. And we wanted to create that as a buffer zone so people who wanted to camp would not be able to camp, but then also provide a living wall where it's aesthetically pleasing and welcoming to people. And that's all we have for 2 days.
All right, so my group on the first day really focused on regional bike transportation and pedestrian connection on the different roadways, and identifying locations where it may be suitable to put some street level water retention interventions along on a longer stretch. And then the second day we also looked at a more in-depth area right around here in the loop area, addressing some very site-specific flooding issues and potential catchment areas to use as irrigation water for a green wall. As well as we also had some people or students from the Literacy for Environmental Justice group that are working on a slough farther south on the other end of Hunters Point come and talk about their desire to have more regional connection to the shoreline in some sort of a naturalized system. So we started adding that in certain areas along the Pier 70 development, as well as in some, I believe that's Warm Water Cove and other shoreline parks.
All right, so day one with my team, we worked on irrigating parks, specifically Progress Park, through using the stormwater runoff from the freeway or the highway that runs right over it, as well as using a kind of water sound wall that would take the water runoff as it came down and kind of make a Rubens machine, if you guys know what that is, where like a bowling ball hits one thing, then another thing happens, then another thing starts happening. that would kind of interact with the water as it came down. As well as we also came up with a meandering bioswale on 18th to try and take care of a flooding problem that's on Minnesota Street. Then day 2, we looked at using Crane Cove Park and as an access point to take in seawater and desalinate it through that site as well as other older decommissioned buildings that are being, I guess, repurposed right now. And using that to desalinate the water, move it to a high point, and then use solar panel to pump it up to that high point. And then using bioswales and other canals that would be open and solar to transport that water naturally along the grade and along streets to different parks in Dogpatch where it could then irrigate. And that was it for them.
All right, since we have several landscape architects, designers, and artists here, I'd like to also invite you to think about the super levee and Potter Park. Maybe just put a piece of trays on top and draw whatever you think could be the shape of that. And if you feel like you want to start with the clean slate,